This is the problem with the US visa application because it's so subjective. I can't guarantee that 50% of people who actually have non-immigrant intent will be approved. What I will say is that there is an...
From your experience, what are the most common mistakes that students make during the visa interview?
I would say not.
Today, we finalize our conversation with the former visa officer, Christa Byker, to learn if visa officers use an approval rate, common mistakes applicants make, and the best answer to the question, why should I approve your visa?
What's a good response to why should I approve your visa?
You can't say every reason, but the most important one is...
Now, talking about quotas, there's been a lot of asking, do visa officers have quotas? And the way I want to pose this question today is, if half of the students that a visa officer interviews in a day, probably they have like 100 or 200 to interview, and half of them have very strong cases to show non-immigrant intent, will they all be approved? Like in terms of quotas, whether there's a specific quotas.
So this is the problem. This is one of the fundamental problems with the US visa application. And one of the reasons that I decided that I'm going to spend my time after working for the State Department trying to help people understand the process, because it's so subjective, right? I can't guarantee that 50% of people who actually have non-immigrant intent will be approved, because they could go in with bad interview strategy, be very nervous. Some of them maybe are going to a lower tier university. They might get, they're all going to get different visa officers. Those visa officers might be thinking different things, right? It's a very subjective application. So this is why preparation and strategy are so important, because if you're not prepared to make an impact on your interview in the ways that I've been talking about, you're just letting the visa officer decide, right? You're not having any influence on your case. In terms of quotas, there are no quotas, right? The visa officer isn't like, oh, you have to deny, 30% of your cases today, or you have to approve 20% or whatever. There's no number that is floating around. What I will say is that there is an average refusal rate that is looked at month by month. Right? So if a visa officer the average refusal rate is like, what's everyone in the consular section doing that month? The average refusal rate, let's say it's 45%. And there's a visa officer who his refusal rate is 20%. And there's another visa officer who her refusal rate is 70%. Both of those outliers will be counseled. And the idea is that the refusal rate should be pretty constant month to month among all of the officers and within the section. And so when, say someone who's, denying 20% of their cases gets counseled, maybe the next month they're gonna be like, okay, I have to be a little bit harder on cases, and they might deny some more. So there's nothing like fixed, but there is this constant awareness of keeping close to the bell curve of the refusal rate in the consular section. Again, it's a reason why you have to stand out as a visa applicant as someone who is not deniable. There's nothing borderline about your case.
Okay. Thank you. From your experience, what are the most common mistakes that students make during the visa interview?
One-word answers, literal answers, is like number one, right? I would say not strategizing about really taking the opportunity to mention their plans to come home, and what is waiting, what career opportunities might be waiting for them, or ideas for their career might be waiting for them when they return to their home country. So those two things, if a student misses those two opportunities, they're just letting the visa officer make a very subjective decision on their case, and having no influence on issuance.
Okay, what's a good response to why should I approve your visa?
You have to talk about your own non-immigrant intent. So let's say your case with the MBA at East Tennessee. Why should I approve your visa? Sorry, 1 second. I got to think about it.
Okay.
I'm consolidating my business career here in Nigeria, and I really intend to come back and found a consulting firm that's going to make an impact on the growing marketing sector here in Nigeria. This is a great educational opportunity for me that is going to mean a big investment in the Nigerian business sector.
Nice.
And
so that's your intentions to come back later the
Yes. Yeah. Why should I approve your visa? Should definitely, you can't say every reason, but the most important one is non-immigrant intent. So talk about what your plans are, your career plans are on your return. And that doesn't mean because some people are like, well, I might do OPT if I'm eligible for it, or I might, try to get an H-1B and work for a few years, right? At your visa interview, you are not eligible for any of those categories. Right. So why would you even talk about those? Yes, maybe far off in the future, if you become eligible and that becomes an option, you may consider your options. But at your non-immigrant F1 visa, the very start of your journey, you need to be talking about what are your possible career implications for your return home. That is what is important for your F1. And if in the future plans change, maybe you get an OPT opportunity, maybe you go work in London, who knows? Life is, a big journey.
Right.
You don't want to, I see students make this mistake a lot. It's like, well, I don't really know what I'm going to do. And, maybe I'll do OPT and I might put my hat in for the H-1B lottery. And it's like, that is 5 years away from now. And you have no idea what's going to happen in the meantime. You do know that if none of that works out, you have to come back to your home country and figure some career plan out. So you better be talking about what your ultimate career plan is upon your return, rather than this kind of pie in the sky trajectory that is not consolidated at this point. Yeah, you haven't put in any applications. You're not even eligible for any of the benefits that you're thinking about. So I don't think any of that's relevant. And then if in the future things change, it's not like they're going to go back to your F1 student interview and be like, oh, but you said that you were going to start a consulting firm in Abuja and you didn't do that. So your F1, no, that's just not how it works. The visa officer and the US immigration system in general understands that life's a journey, things change. But at the moment of your interview, you've got to be focused on what is important for this visa category.
And some students really get very disturbed about the whole, later on, okay, I might want to take up maybe OPT or H-1B, and I'm like, but I told them something else in my interview and all. But as you said, you have to talk about what you're sure of. Those are trajectories. Yeah.
What you're sure of. You're not even eligible. If you're 19 years old and you're going to study a bachelor's degree in the United States, you're not eligible for H-1B. So why would you even be thinking about that at this point? Or, maybe you're thinking about it, but you should not be talking about it. It's not relevant.
Right. It's not relevant. Exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's really been a wonderful time. Do you have any other advice or tips for visa applicants hoping to do the interview soon?
I know it's a crazy process. It's very subjective. It's unfair to a lot of people, and I really regret that. And that's why I do the work that I do, because I want to at least give people a real understanding of what they're getting into with the application and how they need to prepare for their interview. So I, really hope that you'll take that to heart and really have a change of mindset about what you need to be doing to prepare for this interview. You can't go in with the advice your cousin gave you. You can't go in with, if you've been denied in the past with just the same strategy. You can't go in with literal answers. You really have to get prepared and take this seriously. If you can afford a consultation, it's in your interest to do so, because like I said, once you get down that refusal path, it's going to be harder and harder every time to convince the visa officer why they should reconsider. So I think the first step in this whole journey is really understanding what's expected of you at the visa interview and how to respond to the questions in a way that's relevant and showing why you're qualified for the visa class that you're applying for. I wish you the best on that journey. I know that it's not easy, but hopefully the support and advice and tips that I can provide and other former visa officers can provide will really help you frame the correct approach to this visa application.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. If you want to reach out to Christa, her YouTube channel is on the screen now on the Visa View, and you can shoot her an email providing enough context on your situation to help her to adequately guide you. It's Christa@thevisaview.com. And then to book a consultation with her, you head over to agovisa.com. The link will be in the description below. And then you can use the discount code that's on the screen now. It's Visa Interviews, and it's case sensitive. Capital V, capital I. It's case sensitive Visa Interviews to get 10% off. Thank you, Christa, for being very generous to us. And thank you so much. It's been a wonderful time. I personally have learned a lot. One of the things that really struck me was the dressing. I don't think I ever went for a visa interview like this. I was always with suit and tie, and it's wonderful to learn a lot, actually. So this was fun. Thank you so much.
Hey, thank you so much. It was great to connect, and I hope to be in touch with you and other people in your community in the future. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.